Okay, I'm recording a little bit about EKG, what I'm getting from the 12 lead system. Starting out here, we have bipolar leads or limb leads. And for these, for these ones, there's two parts of these hexaxial leads. There's like 6 different directions. We start with these limb leads. You recognize that your right arm has a negative here and a negative here. So there's a negative going from your right arm to your left arm, and there's a negative going from your right arm to your left foot. Okay, so that's, I think your right hand is always the negative hand. I don't know, whatever you can think of it like that. Always negatives in the right hand. And then, at least for the limb leads. And then with the left hand, positive is up to the sky, thumbs up, and negative is thumbs down. Okay, so over here, always negatives. Okay, over here, positive, negative, down. Okay, so left hand, positive, negative, and then your left foot is always positive because it's your lucky foot. I don't know, I'm trying to think of weird ways of memorizing this. Okay, so right hand always negative, negative, negative. Left hand, positive, negative. Left foot, always positive. Okay, so now we're going with these numbering the limb leads. You always go from positive to negative. Okay, so that means since the right hand's always negative, the right hand never starts. It's always going to be another one. So this first limb, this first lead goes across the top. Okay, so it's going to go from your left hand. I know it's a left hand because the left hand is the only one that has positive, and the ones across the top, you know, because the ones are on top. Yeah. So left hand to right hand. That's limb lead 1. Okay. So coming from here, going across to there. Now, as this goes, apparently it actually angles down like this, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Next, lead 2. Okay. Lead 2 is going to go from your left leg up to your right hand. So both lead 1 and lead 2, they both end with your right hand. As your right hand is the most important, so it's going to start, both things are going to involve this first, your right hand. Okay, so I'm just trying to make up things to remember this stuff. This isn't technical. Okay, so all right, so for this one, it's going to go from your left leg, which is always positive, up to your right hand, which is always negative. So now we've got the right hands all used up. So we went, the first one, limb lead 1 went from left hand to right hand, and limb lead 2 went from left foot to right hand. And now what's the only one left? This is going to be limb lead 3, and it's got to be positive. We know the only positive that's left that could start with is going to be my left foot, because it's always positive. Because remember, the bottom of my left hand was negative. So this one's limb 3 is going to go from my left foot up to my left arm. Now, when you draw that out, it looks like this, which is really confusing. But when you apply this to the 12 limb lead, whatever, this terrible looking thing, what this is going to look like is, rather than drawing it across the top, we're just going to draw it in the middle, like this. Here's limb lead 1. Okay, see that? Where it goes from your left arm to your right arm. See that? You just put it right in the middle instead of across the top, like this or like this. And then when we look at limb lead 2, which is the one that goes from your, also is going to end in your right arm, so this is going to be the one that starts with your left leg and goes up to your right arm. Rather than drawing it down here, we're just going to put it in the middle. So here it is, starting at the left leg up to your right arm. Just right, kind of moved it from down here, moved it up like this. And then limb lead 3, rather than having it go, this is the one, remember, this is the one that goes from your left leg to your left arm. And this one, went straight up like this, but rather than having it go straight up like that, kind of pretended like this was more in the middle and that it kind of is going up this way. So here it is, the third lead's going up like this. So 1, 2, 3. It starts with the positive, goes to the negative, and in all these instances, the ground apparently, you know, whenever you have an electrical circuit, you have a positive, a negative, and a ground. Your ground, theoretical ground in these instances, is always whatever limb isn't being used. Okay, so if it goes like limb lead 1 is going to go from your positive left arm to your negative right arm, well, what's the ground going to be? Your foot. Okay, so and then same thing goes, you know, with all these other ones. Whatever limb isn't being used is going to be your ground. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, and this is taking angles on the heart. Okay, what direction are the electrical currents traveling in? So that's one way of measuring this, but you also have this other way of measuring this, the electrical currents in your heart. And these are the augmented leads. And this was over here, these were bipolar leads because there's these two distinct poles, but this is a unipolar lead. In order to make this show up, because it was really faint, they had to augment it or increase the electrical signals. These are called augmented leads. So A voltage, augmented voltage, right, you know, augmented voltage left, augmented voltage, I think, floor. Okay, so for these ones, the ground always kind of the negative always kind of gets moved in here. Okay, they're pretending like it's down here instead. So, you know, for the first one, or you know, augment the left, whatever, it's going to go from the left, you know, to right like this. So this would be the, you know, this one here, and then we'd have the other, you know. You kind of see how this is different. They're all angling in, and so we're going to take this now and we're going to draw this into our other one. And it's pretty simple because it's the F. If you think F for floor, L for left, and R for right, basically you just start with whatever letter is the direction it's coming from, and then you angle in, right? So here's the other one on top of it for starting with a floor, F. You can't see the floor down here, but there's a. There it is, F for floor, and it just goes up, and this one starts to the right, and goes down, and this one starts to the left and goes in. So now let's try to draw this from memory. So if you remember, you've got the, starting with the ones that we already know, that are pretty straightforward. We're starting with the one that's going to go from our, with our limb leads, from our left arm to our right arm. Okay, so this is going to go from left to right. Okay, that's the, oh, shoot, hold on a second. Oh yeah, I've got it backwards, left to right. So it's like this. The guy, we're looking from his direction, not from my direction. Okay, so from left to right, as if the guy's standing like this. Okay, so there's our first limb lead. So that'd be number 1. Now we're going to take one that's going to go from his left foot to his right arm. So left foot, right arm, and that's limb lead 2. Now we're going to take one that's going to go from his left leg to his left arm, and that's going to be this one right here. So left leg to left arm. Make sure I got that right. Yep, 1, 2, 3, there it is, 1, 2, 3. And now we need to throw in these unipolar leads, or these augmented leads. So starting off, we're going to do the one from the floor going up. Then we're going to take the one that goes from the right, so we just go over here to the right, going down, and then we're going to take the one that goes from the left, going down. And there it is, our 12 lead or hexaxial leads, whatever you call them. So there they are. And these are all, and it's always taking from the direction that the letter starts in. And that's how you put it together.